Dominic Harvey. I'm the Sales Director for CWJobs, and CWJobs has been delivering tech talent to the UK businesses since 1999.
Stuart Martin, so as I've said, a long time at QA. As people I think know, QA, we operate in the kind of tech skills and talent market. And very much like Dominic, I've grown up in the sales function. I'm an MD here, looking after populations and salespeople, and kind of working across the divisions and service lines that we have. So really delighted and excited to join you today.
Obviously, COVID-19 started out as a health pandemic, but as it's developed, it's created short-term and longer-term changes to effects, particularly in the way we're working. One of the positives is that it's creating quite unique opportunities out there. So the tech industry presents massive opportunity for individuals from various sectors to make their next career move. And that's basically due to the increased IT demand as a result of us working from home. Majority of the UK workforce now works remotely, certainly of office staff. And there is the perennial ongoing tech skills shortage. And what we wanted to do is really identify the appeal for career changes and why this is such an excellent environment to move into from both general workers, maybe non-tech workers, and currently tech workers, and showcase why the tech sector is ideal to retrain into and actually help recruiters attract and retain that new pool of talent that's potentially out there.
What is the current state of play in the market, especially in terms of career changes and people, I assume, are wanting to go into the tech market and tech industry?
Yeah, so the headline data was that we surveyed over 2,000 tech and non-tech workers and found that there's really a strong appetite for changing careers, especially since the coronavirus impact. So 55% of non-tech workers have thought about or actually started to move into tech. 28% of all respondents have considered a career change into a tech role following the outbreak of COVID-19. And nearly 44% of tech workers believe that learning tech skills will better future-proof their careers. So it's interesting what Stuart was saying about that retraining, that continual training, tying into retention. Because if a worker believes it's future-proofing their career, then they're probably likely to stay with that employer.
I think, as Dominic has said, the biggest shift, of course, is how everybody's working and how we can seek to do that productively. And that's kind of put a huge amount of emphasis and reliance on the tech support functions that kind of enable all of that. But I think, as we all know, tech has for a long time also been, the means by which we gain competitive advantage. And so you sort of see a doubling down of those two things happening at the same time. And I guess what COVID's done more than anything is to accelerate that. And we see that playing through in the sort of relationships and the type of things that our clients are seeking to learn. Lots going on, and we see that playing through in three different ways. So we see businesses seeking to reskill existing employees, and there's a kind of huge move towards that. We'll talk in some detail, I think, about some specific examples we've got with clients, but that's really about looking for opportunities to repurpose those great people, continuation of the upskilling of the existing tech population. And that's interesting because we've obviously got emerging tech going on, and there are people that are been working in legacy systems that are perhaps less of a requirement, or the volume and need in those spaces is less. And then over and above that, I guess you kind of, that isn't enough. And so we're working in ways with lots of clients to try to use new mechanisms, new systems and processes to bring additional incremental talent from outside the business altogether.
Stuart, do you have any examples of where you've seen organisations develop this kind of training, reskilling, upskilling sort of development plan? Have you got any sort of case studies that you can share with us?
Yeah, sure. Some couple of great ones that come to mind. So we've worked for many years with Nationwide Building Society in their objectives of achieving their own digital transformation, which is clearly about being a more competitive organisation doing a fantastic job for their customers through sort of digital services, had this desire to create a new engineering team with a brand new culture. And the way that they very consciously went about that, and we were fortunate enough to be able to support them in this, was to really seek to identify people with an ambition to work in tech that were across the organisation. Because what was clear, that was various aspects of branches being automated, various services being automated, that they knew they had a lot of fantastic people in the business, that their priority was to look after them.
Dom, why do you think there's such an opportunity for people to move into a tech career? Was that something that came out in the research at all?
It's desire and opportunity, and that the data absolutely bears that out. So if you look at the respondents from the Turning to Tech survey we did, 7 in 10 of non-tech workers are planning to change careers. 45% of tech workers said that their employer is actively recruiting for tech roles. So there's the opportunity and there's the desire there. And half of all workers have taken an online tech course in the last 12 months. So there's this, the population of the penny is dropping in that if I get better at something, that there's a great opportunity and maybe I can be part of that too. So the people that have taken those online courses, 12% said that the pandemic was really the catalyst to make them take action. Add into that some research that we did earlier this year in our confidence index 2020, and that said that 49%, nearly exactly half of IT decision makers revealed that they expect tech budgets to increase as a direct result of COVID-19. The tech skills that companies are currently looking for are IT support, no surprise there, helping people work from home, infrastructure, etc. Cybersecurity, that will ad infinitum be there. The cloud, artificial intelligence, coding, of course the bedrock of it all, and data analytics. A third of them looking to further their specialisms, looking at transferable soft skills such as problem solving and teamwork from those from a non-tech background have also been recognised as beneficial to the sector and can bring new ways of thinking, maybe from different departments internally, maybe from different industries externally.
Dom, as an industry, why are people attracted to tech? So why are people outside of tech attracted to the tech industry? What's the appeal?
Well, there's probably 5 things involved with this, and a lot of them affected by COVID. So there's a higher demand for tech skills, maybe than other industries at the moment, and that's probably seen by anybody working in a working environment, that suddenly they need the tech guy a little bit more than or woman than they needed before. The ability to learn being endless was also very high up the scale. That was second in the listings. Third in the listings was the fact that the work's considered more interesting. Now, whether somebody that's been in tech for 15 years will agree with that, or than somebody that's looking over the fence, but that's certainly the perception. And there is also, on equal footing, the fact that tech provides better pay, and that companies, it can be seen that companies are prioritising tech as a direct result of COVID-19. First of all, businesses have got to open their minds to welcoming individuals into the industry, and that's by considering people from various job backgrounds, levels of experience, their transferable skills that new candidates can bring to the role in their company, and that's by not having a perception that they're going to take ages to learn their company's culture and to learn new ways of thinking. Also, with most workers believing training offered by a prospective employer is the most important factor when considering a new role, employers need to make sure that they are demonstrating that clearly on their job adverts, and doing that clearly and across a wider employer branding suite as well, and through all of the stages of communication with candidates as they're coming through that application, because highly likely that candidate is looking elsewhere as well. So you want to be repeating and reiterating your message that that's part of your culture. But also with extended remote and flexible working opportunities, looking like that's all here to stay, and I think there's no doubt about that. It's important that HR managers are open to considering candidates from far and wide, especially if their skill set's the best match for the role.
What do employers need to perhaps think about or set up internally to be able to offer a sort of reskilling, retraining program for their employees?
It's interesting, isn't it? If you said that the tech that's available is available to everyone, then tech itself won't be a differentiator. The differentiator will be people and culture, and clearly, you know, that's led by great strategy, right? And the ability to invest. But in the end, it will be about the organisation that you create, and that works with that tech that's given to them. Have a plan. Think hard about the culture, and in doing so, kind of make sure you've got an understanding of what good would look like. And once you've got that, start to look initially across the organisation, because you might be surprised what you find.
Dom, have you seen there been much change or impact over the recent sort of months within diversity for those sort of tech roles, or has it not had an impact at all?
I think it's had a massive impact. I mean, we all know that long term there's been this massive imbalance between male and females, the gender piece. But I think one of the fascinating things when people look back at the whole coronavirus period is going to be, wow, what happened with the whole Black Lives Matter movement? Where did that come from? And why has that gained such momentum? And personally, I think that there is almost a feeling of, in that hiatus where nothing seems to be happening for a month, kind of March, April, May, that period, and people working from home in very, very different ways, and very, very suddenly and very new. People just started to think, well, hang on a minute, can't we reset other things as well? So I think not just gender, there's the whole racial piece, and bringing into that LGBTQ piece as well. So I think the options and where this is going to go have opened up hugely.